Well guys, welcome back. Today we're diving into our next big step on our 1952 Dodge M37 restoration. We're pulling the cab off the frame in this episode. We're taking you along step by step to show you exactly what it takes to get this cab off. From unhooking wiring, pulling leakages, and making sure everything is supported safely. So grab a seat, hit that like button, and let's get into removing the cab on this Dodge military truck. So guys, what I'm doing here is in order to get this cab off, we got to do something with the steering column. And I think the easiest thing to do is to pull this steering gearbox off the frame. So I got to disconnect it from the pitman arm, and then I'll take the steering column with the steering gearbox out from the inside out. So I think that would be the easiest way to tackle the steering column issue. So I got pretty good pressure on this pitman arm with the 2-jaw puller. So I think a little bit of heat should help it pop off the shaft here. So that's just a little bit of heat. I figured that would do it, but at the end I was kind of thinking we might need a real torch, but that's all it took. So just whenever you're heating up these, like I said, just make sure you're directing that flame away from that gearbox, because there are seals in there. And unless you plan on going through it and rebuilding it, which this gearbox is in really good shape, so I don't think we're going to be going through it. But if we're going through it, you know, there are some bearings and seals in there that if you really get on it pretty good with some heat, it's going to tear up. So you just have to be mindful of that. You're going to have to replace them, but I think we're good. So I don't think we hurt the seals at all. So now we just got to disconnect or unbolt the gearbox off the frame. We got a clamp with 2 bolts underneath the dash, and then we got some floorboard stuff we got to take off here on the firewall. But once we get that all taken out, we'll be able to pull the steering gearbox and the column out. So I'll take you around the front of the truck here, guys. In order to get this gearbox out, we got this plate here, just a little, like a 4-inch by 6-inch plate that's directly underneath the column we got to take out. And then this whole floorboard that's under here that goes around the pedals, we got to take that floorboard out anyways to be able to lift the cab above the pedals, because the pedals are going to be staying with the frame for the time being while we lift the cab. So with that floorboard out around the pedals and this plate, hopefully that gives us enough room to get this gearbox out. We're going to take it out from the inside of the cab out. So hopefully that's all we got to do. Just really not sure. That steering wheel is pretty cracked up and broke up right around that center hub. And I'm just really nervous about pulling on that right now. I'm going to do some thinking on how I'm going to get that off, or if I'm even going to take that steering wheel off the column. It really doesn't need to come off, so my plan is, rather than breaking it, try to get it off and maybe just leave it and just kind of paint it and restore that wheel on in place. So that's the plan, is to get it out that way. So yeah, we gotta take it out that direction. So hopefully it all goes well. So I got this gearbox all ready to pull out here. It's all disconnected from the frame, and I got all that floor panels out there. So I think I should be able to snake this steering column up through that floor there. And here, see, I got that loose. Just gotta finish removing that clamp there. And I took off all the wiring for the turn signals. The turn signals used to be clamped up there, but rather than cutting any wiring for right now, I just pulled that off, and then I'll figure out what I'm all going to do with the wiring. But yeah, I should be able to get this column fished out that hole there. All right, guys, it was quite the challenge. We had to twist and pull and turn and get that out of there. Just working around that brake pedal was the most challenging, but we got her. So I had to remove the top shock mount in order to get room, because we had to drop it down alongside of it there. But yeah, that's all taken off. There it is right there. You could see though, the reason I did not want to try pulling that steering wheel is we got some really bad cracking there, and I'm going to try to restore that wheel, fill those cracks before I paint it. And I just figured if I go to pulling on that wheel, it was just going to completely shatter out. So yeah, I had to save what I got there. But yeah, you could see here, this is where it was clamped up. Yeah, that just opens up a lot of room here for working, getting these pedals out and getting this cab lifted up. So yeah, that's what we got to work with. So I already got the speedometer disconnected off the back of the gauge, and this is the cable for it, and it's in that rubber clamp on the firewall here. So I'm going to pull the speedometer cable out of the cab and just lay it out of the way for right now. And then after that, I got to worry about all this wiring here. I don't think I'm going to reuse any of this wiring, but I also want to cut as little as possible, because when I put my new wiring in, whether I get a whole new harness or I make my own harness, I want to be able to match up what's there, so I don't want to cut any wiring. So, but the wiring is just in rough shape. All the insulation's all just crumbled off, and it's just bare corroded wiring. So yeah. So that's the speedometer cable. So it came out nice. So let's lay it here out of the way while we pull the cab. So this is what I'm talking about here, the electrical. Really, there's one wire that goes up into the cab without a connection. I have to figure out what that goes to and disconnect it behind the dash. And then I got the green wire that someone has spliced on here. I've got to figure out what that goes on. And then actually I got 3 green wires and a red. And then once I do that, both these harnesses, the cab harness and the frame harness, should be disconnected. So that should take care of that. So I got to trace out these 4 or 5 wiring here, see where they go to, and that should be it for the wiring. As you can see, I got all the wiring disconnected for the frame and the cab, so that's all ready to go. That one single small factory wire was for the fuel gauge, and then all these green wires is just someone's handiwork on the turn signals. So obviously this is all going to be getting replaced. That's just terrible, but yeah. And looking at this more, just this wire is just hammered, so there's no saving it. But I don't want to cut any of the factory wiring because I want to be able to match it all up. So yeah, getting there. All the bolts are out, all the wiring is disconnected. Pretty sure she's all ready to lift. I got it rigged up, so I'm going to lift this cab up, get it moved off the frame, and get the frame all kind of jockeyed around so we can set the cab back down. Yeah, I got the cab off. It really wasn't that hard to get it off. A lot more simple than I thought it was going to be. I'm assuming that probably weighs maybe 400 pounds for that cab, maybe 450, something like that. But that gantry crane made pretty easy work of it. Just quickly looking over the frame here, I don't see any issues at all with the frame, so it's going to be a pretty straightforward restoration, I think. Got to get the transfer case pulled out of there, and the axles and suspension, everything like that, and get it ready to go to sandblast. But the only issue that I have found, and it kind of sucks, but it's not that huge of an issue, I think I can repair it, is right there I got a frame crack. But other than that, frame looks pretty solid. I really don't see any other issues. So, but yeah, we'll just continue getting it stripped down. And then, like I said earlier, one of our next videos, we're going to put this hood up on stands and get it wet sanded, and show you how I'm going to reveal these registration numbers. So we'll see if it's a U.S. Army or USMC. I'm assuming it's probably going to be a U.S. Army, but time will tell. So anyways, that's that. It was a busy day, but stay tuned for the next video, and we'll continue stripping her down. So thanks, guys.